Thank you for joining us today for Devotions with Brother Aaron. I pray that wherever you are or whatever you're doing, this devotion finds you doing well in the Lord. The title of today's devotion is The Last Lecture. Sometime back, I took a book off the shelf in my office that I had read several years earlier. I highly recommend it. It's entitled The Last Lecture. It was written by Randy Pausch, P-A-U-S-C-H, a terminally ill professor who was literally given the opportunity to give one final lecture to his college students before his death. He entitled his lecture, Really Achieving Your Childhood Dreams. The lecture wasn't about dying. It was about the importance of overcoming all the obstacles life throws at a person, learning to seize every moment of every day, and making that moment count. It was about living. It was about realizing that aside from God, time is really all a person has. And it was about how the author reacted when he was forced to realize that he had far less time than he thought. As I thumbed through the book, rereading things I had highlighted from my first reading, I was reminded of several principles that, as a leader, had encouraged me. I compiled a list of 10 of them that I want to share with you in this devotion today. And I want to encourage you to listen to them with an open mind. In fact, you may even want to bookmark this devotion and listen to it again later or share it with others. As you listen or listen again to this devotion, whichever the case may be, take to heart the principles it contains. Regardless of who you are or your station in life, I truly believe you will find these 10 principles most helpful. First, in Star Trek, the original series, James T. Kirk was the captain of the starship Enterprise. However, if you're familiar with the series, you know that Kirk wasn't the smartest guy on the ship. Mr. Spock, the science officer, was the ship's logical intellect. Dr. McCoy had all the medical knowledge available to mankind in the 2060s, and Scotty was the chief engineer who could keep the ship running even when under attack by aliens. Sounds like there's a lesson in there somewhere for true leaders. A true leader, now listen to me, is not always the smartest person in the room. They're just the best leader. As Kirk, true leaders realize what they don't know and learn to take input from those who do know what they don't know. Let me say that again. As Kirk, true leaders realize what they don't know and learn to take input from those who do know what they don't know. Number 2, no matter how bad things are, you can always make things worse. Hey, don't. As the old Hippocratic oath says, first, do no harm. If you don't know what to do, leave it alone. Number 3, experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted. Amen. Ain't that the truth? I learned well by pain and when things didn't go right. Number 4, the best shortcut is often the long way. And number 5, sometimes the questions are more important than the answers. Number 6, when flying in a plane and the oxygen masks deploy, put yours on before trying to help others. Number 7, when you find yourself in the wilderness, the only things you can count on are the things you brought with you. And hey, here's some good news for you. If you find yourself in the wilderness, you can only go so far into the wilderness before you start coming out of the wilderness. Somebody needed to hear that. Number 8, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. It's amazing how that the better prepared I am, the luckier I am. Number 9, whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Let that one sink in. And number 10, not everything needs to be fixed. Wow. Remember, whether by our spoken words, the way we live our lives, or the influence we yield upon our family, friends, co-workers, and etc., one day each of us will step onto the stage of life and give our last lecture. And that time may be a lot closer than any of us think. Death is coming. It's certain. The question is, are you prepared? If today was your last lecture, would you step off the stage of life, leaving a legacy worth honoring that points others toward God? Where would you spend eternity? Are you prepared to meet God? Eternity is way too long to be wrong. Randy Pausch realized that he was dying and he had no say in the matter. He was going to die. But he also realized that by preparing to die afforded him the opportunity to really live and to meet his childhood dreams and make them come true. We will die. The question is, will we learn how to live? I'm reminded of a scene in the series Lonesome Dove where Captain Augustus McCrae was about to go into town. Captain Woodrow Call shouted out at him, "Augustus, you're going to get your fool self killed." Augustus pulls back on his horse's reins, turns in his saddle, and looks at Captain Call. He says, "Woodrow, you just don't get it, do you? It ain't about dying, it's about living." Lord, I realize that one day I will preach my last sermon or give my last lecture, give my final altar call, pray my last prayer, sing my last song, kiss my wife, tell my family I love them, and breathe my last breath and die. But I pray that before that time comes, you will have empowered and blessed me to have achieved my childhood dreams and to have learned that because I have given my life to you, my life is not about dying. It's about living. Lord, I believe somebody listening to this devotion today needs to be reminded that it ain't about dying, it's about living. And I pray this in your name. Amen.